Have you ever had that feeling? That deep, quiet, unshakable feeling that something about the world is just off. It's not something you can easily explain. It's like watching a movie where you know the actors are on a set, but you can't quite see the cameras or the crew. It's the sense that you're living in a story that someone else wrote, following a script that you never agreed to. You wake up, you go to work, you pay the bills, you navigate the highs and lows, all while a tiny voice in the back of your mind whispers, "Is this it? Is this all there is?" For most of my life, I ignored that voice. I was taught, as most of us are, to believe in the solid, predictable world presented to us. The world of matter. The world where you are your body. Your brain is a biological computer, and your thoughts are just little sparks of electricity fizzing away inside your skull, ultimately disappearing into nothingness. I was told that the universe is a vast, cold, dead place, and we are a tiny, meaningless biological accident within it. It's a bleak story, isn't it? It leaves you feeling small, powerless, and utterly alone. But what if that story, the one that has been drilled into us for centuries, is not just false, but is the complete opposite of the truth? What if we have been looking at reality completely upside down? Quantum physics, the most rigorously tested and mind-bending science of all, has been pointing to a disturbing and beautiful truth for over a century. A truth that ancient spiritual traditions have spoken about for millennia. It's the discovery that the world isn't as solid as it seems. At the subatomic level, the very building blocks of everything we call real exist in a shimmering sea of pure potential. They are waves of probability until something happens. That something is observation. The moment a conscious observer pays attention, that wave of infinite possibilities collapses into a single, concrete particle in a specific place and time. Let me say that again. Your attention, your perception, literally turns possibility into reality. This isn't philosophy. This is the demonstrated, repeated, undeniable foundation of quantum mechanics, seen in experiments like the famous double-slit experiment. The very act of looking changes what is being looked at. So if your consciousness can alter the behavior of the fundamental stuff that makes up the universe, what does that say about your thoughts, about your beliefs, about the feelings you carry inside of you every single day? This is where things get really personal. We've been taught to see our brains as generators of consciousness. We think a thought, and we assume it was born inside the 3 pounds of tissue in our heads. But a growing wave of neuroscientists and consciousness researchers are now suggesting something that sounds like science fiction. The brain may not be a generator at all. It may be a receiver, a highly sophisticated biological antenna, tuning into a signal that doesn't originate inside you, but permeates everything, everywhere, all at once. Think about it like a radio. A radio doesn't create the music it plays. The music is already there, broadcast as an invisible field of frequencies. The radio's job is to tune into a specific frequency and translate it into sound. If you smash the radio, the music doesn't stop existing. The broadcast continues. You've only lost the instrument capable of receiving it. In the same way, your consciousness, your unique sense of I, might not be a product of your brain. Your brain might be the tool that your consciousness uses to experience this particular reality. It's the interface. This helps to explain so many mysteries that mainstream science struggles with. Things like near-death experiences, where people report incredible clarity and expanded awareness even when their brain activity is flatlined. If the brain was the creator, that should be impossible. But if it's just a receiver that's temporarily offline, then it all starts to make sense. So, if consciousness isn't contained in our heads and our attention is actively shaping the world, we are left with a terrifying and magnificent responsibility. You are not a passive spectator watching the movie of your life. You are the projector. Your deepest beliefs, your most persistent thoughts, your dominant emotional state, these are the film running through the projector. And the universe, the quantum field, that universal intelligence some people call God, is the impartial screen that simply reflects what is being projected. It doesn't judge. It doesn't decide if you're projecting a beautiful romance or a terrifying horror film. Its only job is to be the perfect mirror. This is why you see people in the exact same external circumstances live completely different realities. One person, focused on lack, conflict, and what's going wrong, inhabits a world that continuously delivers more problems. They're projecting a story of struggle, and the universe faithfully reflects it back. Another person, in the same situation but consciously cultivating feelings of gratitude, looking for solutions and focusing on possibilities, starts to inhabit a world that delivers synchronicity, opportunity, and support. They have changed the film. They are projecting a different story. This is not about pretending your problems don't exist. That's a huge misconception. It's not about positive thinking, where you paste happy thoughts over a deep well of fear and anger. That's like putting a nice-smelling air freshener in a room full of garbage. It doesn't work for long. The real work is about something much deeper. It's about mental and emotional hygiene. Just as we wash our bodies, we must learn to tend to our minds. It begins with radical honesty, observing your thoughts without judgment. What tapes are playing in your head on a loop? I'm not good enough. It's always a struggle. Nothing ever works out for me. These aren't just harmless thoughts. They are creative commands. They are blueprints that you are handing to the universe, and the universe, like a master builder, will construct your reality precisely according to those plans. When you become aware of these patterns, you can begin the real work. You deny the problem its permanent authority over you. You see the storm, but you deny that it has the power to decide your destination. And then you affirm a new reality, not with empty words, but with feeling. Emotion is the language the universe understands best. It's the energetic charge that turns a thought from a faint blueprint into a magnetic force. Feeling the gratitude for what you have, even when it's small. Feeling the relief of a solution before you can see it. Feeling the love you want to receive by giving it first. This is how you change the film. Think of it this way. The universe is like a fertile garden. Your subconscious mind is the soil, and your thoughts are the seeds. The emotions you attach to those thoughts are the water and sunlight that make them grow. Now, the soil doesn't care what you plant. It will grow poisonous nightshade with the same impartial dedication that it will grow beautiful, life-giving fruit. It's an impersonal law. It only works with the seeds you give it. For years, many of us have been unconsciously planting seeds of fear, worry, resentment, and doubt. And then we wonder why our lives are filled with weeds. The moment we take responsibility for the seeds we are planting, everything begins to change. We learn to consciously choose what we plant. When a thought of fear pops up, we can notice it and gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am choosing to plant a seed of trust instead." When a feeling of resentment arises, we can acknowledge it and say, "I am choosing to plant a seed of forgiveness, not for them, but for my own freedom." This isn't a one-time fix. This is the moment-to-moment practice of a master gardener. And what science is now showing us is absolutely stunning. Epigenetics proves that your mental and emotional states can literally turn genes on or off, changing your own biology. Your feelings of stress or joy can change your body at a cellular level. Neuroplasticity shows that every time you repeat a thought or a behavior, you strengthen the neural pathways in your brain, literally rewiring it. You can change your brain by changing your mind. All of this evidence is pointing in a single, unified direction. Consciousness comes first. Mind precedes matter. The inner world creates the outer world. We are powerful, creative beings who have simply forgotten how to use our power. We've been building our entire lives from the outside in, trying to manipulate the reflection in the mirror, instead of changing the face that is causing the reflection. The struggle, the frustration, the feeling of being stuck, it all comes from trying to change the effect instead of the cause. Lasting, miraculous change happens when we turn inward. So how do we begin this journey of conscious creation, of becoming the master gardener of our reality. It starts with silence. In our noisy, distracted world, our mental receivers are constantly filled with static. Meditation, even just 5 minutes a day, isn't about emptying your mind. It's about letting the noise settle down so you can hear the more subtle signals. It's in the quiet that you begin to perceive the broadcast from that universal field of consciousness. You begin to feel your connection to something infinitely larger, more intelligent, and more loving than your individual ego. It's in the quiet that inspiration lands. Solutions to problems that seemed impossible suddenly appear. You realize that this universal intelligence isn't a distant God on a throne. It is the living fabric of your own being. It is pulsing in every cell of your body. It's the life in the tree outside your window, the order in the spiral of a galaxy, and the creative spark in your own mind. It's not something to be prayed to in a temple. It is a force to be aligned with in your very molecular structure. Living in alignment with this force is incredibly practical. It means harmonizing with its fundamental principles, which you can see everywhere in nature. Unity over separation, generosity over greed, order over chaos. By choosing thoughts, words, and actions that reflect these principles, you begin to swim with the current of life, not against it. The result isn't a divine reward. It's the natural consequence of being in flow. And as you do this, something amazing begins to happen to the people around you, to your community, and to the world. We are all individual antennas, but we are also broadcasting our signals into a collective field. When enough of us change our individual broadcasts from fear to love, from chaos to harmony, from separation to unity, the collective reality must and will reorganize itself to reflect that new dominant frequency. True, lasting social change doesn't come from fighting the old systems. It comes from making them obsolete by building a new reality on a foundation of higher consciousness. When enough people learn to consciously create beauty, cooperation, and justice in their own lives, the world will have no choice but to follow. You were not born to simply survive. You were not born to be a powerless accident in a dead universe. You have been in training your entire life for something much, much greater. Every challenge has been a lesson. Every heartbreak has been a strengthening. Your entire life has been preparing you for this moment, the moment you remember who you really are. You are not a body that has a soul. You are a soul temporarily experiencing a body. You are an individualized point of perspective through which the universe is experiencing itself. And your job, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to awaken from the dream, take hold of the projector, and begin to consciously, deliberately, and lovingly create the reality your heart knows is possible. It's a huge responsibility, but it is also the source of true freedom and the greatest adventure you will ever embark on. The world isn't broken. It's waiting. It's waiting for you to remember your power.